All right, we're live here at the race start. I'm with Heather Gollnick, just spectacular triathlete here. We're going to talk a little bit about the course today, but we're at the start of the swim. An absolute amazing venue for a race. Talk a little bit about the venue.
Oh, I love this venue. I think some people have a misconception. The Ohio River's dirty, and I don't want to do that race. And it's just a lovely race, especially for those first-time Ironman athletes or those athletes that aren't comfortable with a mass start. This time trial start is spectacular, and not only but for spectators.
Right.
It's great.
Now, you said time trial. Let's talk a little bit about how this start really varies from a lot of other races. How does it work for the pros, and how does it work for the age group athletes?
Well, at most races, you have everybody in the water, 2,000 people all going, which is very exciting. And so I think some athletes did miss the opportunity to do a mass start. But here, it's a time trial start, and so the athletes are coming down the pier every 3 seconds. Someone's hopping in the water. You really want to seed yourself. If you're an athlete that it's going to take a little bit longer for you to complete the race on race day, you're going to want to seed yourself at the front, and at least within the first 15-20 minutes, which is going to give you a little bit longer to be out on the course on race day. Another thing to think of is it is dark here pretty late in the morning, and last year the pros do go off early, but even for the first group of age groupers that are going in with the trees and the way that you're going, it's fairly dark. You may want to consider some clear goggles.
Yeah, you had talked about that a little bit. You had smoke-colored goggles last year, and it's a little dark there.
Yeah, it was a lot dark.
Yeah. What's really exciting, though, is when you talk about those things, you really want to use what past experience. And I'm telling you what, I'm in awe of this race, this venue, and we're going to be taking everybody out on the bike course, which is really exciting. It's a great course, and you give us hints all day long today. Yeah,
I will.
Okay, so great. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little break, and then we'll catch you up on the bike course. All right, Heather, here we are. You see the water here, and we're actually coming out of the transition area. Talk a little bit about what you're looking at now and what the racers are actually going to see.
This is just spectacular. Depending on how fast you swim, you're going to see a lot of people in front of you and a lot of people behind you. One thing athletes forget is you're in the water a long time, and the blood is really pooled up in your upper body. And a lot of people get out of the swim, and they say, I'm kind of dizzy when I get out of the swim, and, they just don't feel right when they first get on their bike. And I always recommend actually kicking at the end of the swim. A lot of people want to save their legs, but if you kick, you're going to start getting that blood to your lower body. And right now you're running over a bridge. You're going to be able to run a lot faster because you have kicked the last 200, and you're going to be able to feel much better as you're running into this transition area. Yeah,
that's really interesting. I think a lot of people do just kind of relax. So go ahead and kick when you're coming out of the water. That's great advice. Okay, what are we looking at now? This is going to be the actual transition area.
Yeah, this is going to be set up. It looks fantastic. There's bikes everywhere. There's volunteers there to help you, to get you going. They're going to be handing you a bag with your number. You're going to have to go into a changing tent. There's a tent for women and there's a tent for men, and make sure you go in the correct one. Someone's going to peel your wetsuit off. You grab your wetsuit, you grab your bag, you go into the tent. Take your time. This isn't where you want to save 10 seconds and forget something. You want to get all your bike gear on, get all your nutrition, fill your pockets, and then right here, you're heading out. You're running here because the mountain line is further up. But you're going to run here, and this right here is your only shade for a little while, so enjoy that.
Okay, so now this is going to be our first road. The mountain line is coming up here. We wanted to tape this to give you a really good idea of how far you're going to be running, because there's some places where you're going to be running for quite a bit with your bike.
Well, and as we see on the video, it looks like it's wet, and a lot of times, especially even if it's dry outside, a lot of the athletes coming out of the water before you have been wet, and the pavement could be slick. And so I always tell people, to really be careful, right here, running through the transition, and especially if you're getting on your bike. Right here is where the mountain line is, and it may be kind of congested, so you may be smart to run a little bit and then get on your bike.
All right, Heather, we have finally moved to the bike route. This is really exciting. We're going to show you every single inch of this route. It's nothing like you'd expect. I was so amazed looking at how rolling it is. Just explain a little bit about it's nothing like you'd ever imagine out here. It's beautiful.
Yeah, for some of us coming from Florida where it's pancake flat, I'd actually consider this a hilly course. A lot of people say it's rolling, but it's pretty hilly. It's got some climbs in it, so you definitely have to have the right gearing, which we're going to talk about, and be prepared for it.
Now, one of the things that's really different here, and we'll show this in detail, is there's no shoulders on these roads. It's very different from those of you. I know it may not seem like a big deal, but there's no shoulders all the way through this route. Explain how that's really important for people to understand.
Well, it's definitely important if you're previewing the course, you're out training. On race day, they're very good about traffic, and you're really not going to have any problems with that.
Okay, so here we go. We're gonna jump back on. We're gonna show you a little bit biking. We're gonna give you a great route preview. Again, every single inch, every single mile. We're gonna have it on tape for you. All right, Heather. Here we are. We're starting to go out. We've crossed the where we can mount the bike, and now talk a little bit about how we're making our way out here on the ride.
The beginning of the ride is really nice because it starts out and it's flat. The first, I think, 7 miles is flat, so you can really get spinning quickly. You can get your legs going from the swim. It's really nice because it starts out and it's not too hard. It's not like you have a big climb right away.
Yeah. Now, one of the things I think, looking at the pavement, this was the only part in almost the entire ride that I saw rough pavement. Is there a problem of losing your water bottles right here at the beginning, if there's any point in the whole ride?
Yeah, you want to make sure everything's in there, especially your spare tires, your cartridges, because it is bumpy here. You can see a little bit of it, but it's actually worse than it looks.
Yeah.
Believe it.
You know what the great thing is, though, is the entire rest of the ride is really smooth, but this part really I noticed was quite bumpy.
Well, and the other thing, right here, depending on how long you swim, you're going to be with a lot of people, and I was pretty much navigating my way around the potholes. You may be having to go through it because there's someone to your right and there's someone to your left. And so even if you use one of those jet streams, you're going to maybe lose some water. So I would leave an inch. Don't fill it 100% because you're going to just get it splashing in your face and get frustrated.
Right.
So just knowing that it's rough, but it's going to get smooth. You can see right now the pavement already is smoothed out.
Yeah, we've moved out quite a ways in the video. It's been pretty much straight up until this point. This is a little bit different part of the route this year. Talk a little bit about what we're seeing now.
Well, this is a change. Last year, right there, we went last. And they changed the course and added this beautiful, wonderful climb. I think they did it just for me because they know I'm from Florida and I love those climbs. But this is a pretty significant climb. It really doesn't look like it, but it's pretty steep and it's long.
Yeah, I see you jumping out of your saddle a lot. In past races, when I've been able to study kind of your videos and things like that, do you like getting out of the saddle like this? You look so aggressive in so many parts of the video.
And that's personal preference. I think for each athlete, they have to know whether they should stand or whether they should sit. When I stand and climb, my heart rate does not jump. For somebody else, if they stand and climb, they're only going to save 10 seconds, but they may go anaerobic. And you really don't want to go anaerobic in an Ironman, especially this is probably mile 9. If you're going anaerobic here, you're going to have a long day.
Right. Now, one of the things that you're going to see for those of you that have never seen this course, and I was absolutely amazed, it is spectacular viewing. Almost the entire way is video just like this. What we really tried to do is open up the lens angle to a great extent so you see a lot of what's left and a lot of what's right. And you can see Heather's riding here. Talk a little bit about just the plain beauty of this amazing course.
Yeah, I wish I had a lot of money because right there on the right there was a house for sale. And it looked like it was like 9 acres. And I was like, oh, that would be so nice because we live about an inch away from our neighbor's house. So it's just beautiful, the scenery out here.
Yeah. Now, one thing I can't reiterate enough is that you'll notice, as much as it was bumpy at the beginning, these roads are really smooth. Also, the one thing that we noted before, if you look